And now, for your listening pleasure, the song that is sweeping the nation, I've Got a Dog by those boys from Liverpool, the Beatles.
I've got a dog, he's called Fred. My dog is alive, he's not dead. I love my dog, he loves me too. I haven't got a cat, only a dog. My dog, my dog, my dog, my dog. I've got a dog, I love my dog. He's my dog, he's not your dog. If you want a dog, get your own.
That song is fire. The Devil's Chord is kind of a tonal mess. Don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be a bash session. There's a lot to like about this episode. The Devil's Chord is not bad per se. It's more of a big old soup of ideas where some of them worked and some of them really didn't, and some of them could have worked better if the tone of the episode matched certain scenes. It's a historical episode of Doctor Who that didn't need to be a historical. Historical episodes are always a little bit weird because of the paradoxes that they create, but I love a good historical and I always look forward to them. Sometimes because of the tap dance they have to figure out on how not to change history too much. But The Devil's Chord barely counts. It was an episode that was somewhat controversial due to Jinx Monsoon being a drag queen, and some people have trouble with that, and I'm not really certain why those people still watch the show, but honestly, the biggest controversy I saw was the casting of the Beatles. We'll get to it. It's got an over-the-top villain, multiple references to lore, homages to better episodes, a straight banger, and a dance sequence that sucks the soul from your body. But was it bad? And how many salt shakers will I give it? And will you agree with me? Let's find out together and dive in to the so-called musical episode of Doctor Who. So the Doctor asks Ruby, again I guess, where she wants to go, and she wants to go see the Beatles record their first album. And when they get there, the only music that's going sucks. That's because the Toymaker's kid, the maestro, was unleashed from a special note being played by some random music teacher and is now taking all the music away.
And now it's up to the Doctor and Ruby to stop the maestro and bring music back to the world, with the help of some very special friends.
Roll your eyes if you want, but I was looking forward to the musical episode that we'd been hearing about. Look, I'm not scared of Doctor Who trying new Doctor Who has all of space and time to play with, and it can lean into all kinds of genres. A musical episode fits right in. Now, I could be wrong, but I suspect that people were freaking out about a musical episode were really worried about it being something else. But if that were true, brother, I'm not sure you've been paying attention to where this show has been heading for quite some time now. But this wasn't a musical episode. No matter how much I've Got a Dog slaps so fucking hard, it's always a twist and the sad rooftop piano songs together don't count. I'm still waiting on my full musical episode. Things that I liked. Let's start with the thing I liked most in this episode. Jinx Monsoon. Wow. Jinx played the maestro big. Big in a way that's hard not to watch. It's an incredible performance that fits the importance of the character. Now, not everything works, but I feel like that was less Jinx Monsoon's performance than it was in the tonal shifts in the narrative. The maestro feels otherworldly and strange. Campy? Oh, you bet. But it's not a rehash of Neil Patrick Harris's going over the top with a Toymaker. There's some real menace to the maestro that wasn't there with the Toymaker. And while the Toymaker felt campy, he also felt powerful until he lost a game of catch. So the maestro feels campy, but also greedy. And yeah, sometimes it crosses over into cartoonish greed. But when that greed crosses over into real rage, it becomes unsettling. Jinx Monsoon has real range as an actor, and I truly hope that this is not the last we see of them on Doctor Who. I think it makes sense that Ruby would want to see the Beatles, considering that she's in a band, and I think that's kind of the only job we've ever seen her in. But I was irritated that they chose the mop-top era Beatles. Man, I wanted the full, hippie, drugged-out Beatles. I wanted the Doctor being the real inspiration behind Come Together. I wanted Ringo to be a one-episode companion and go to an octopus's garden planet. I wanted them to get Lucy Saxton back, put her in the sky with diamond aliens while John is tripping balls. I wanted them to lean into it.
Why have I never done that before?
That's because the Beatles are expensive. I like resourceful Ruby, but I found it a little odd that the Doctor was concerned about getting in. The psychic paper gets you in anywhere, dude. You don't even have to try to blend in anymore, my guy. That and the Sonic clears up 85% of the bullshit. It's why we don't have 8 episodes to finally get to the Master's evil plan. We can skip all that roving reporter time-wasting stuff. I'm gonna say it again. I've Got a Dog f***ing slaps. The Beatles wish they had recorded this masterpiece. I know Maury Gold is already a musical genius with his scores, but he needs to be writing music for the biggest stars. Oh, I know, this was supposed to be a joke. This was supposed to be some throwaway song. But me and Post Malone beg to differ.
I've got a dog. He's called Fred. My dog is alive. He's not dead. I love my dog. He loves me too. I haven't got a cat. I haven't got a cat, only a dog. My dog, my dog, my dog, my dog. I have a dog. I love my dog. He is my dog. He is not your dog. If you want a dog, if you want a dog, go get your own.
I liked Ruby's rooftop piano song. It was nice to see how the world has been impacted by the removal of music. Too often when these world-changing events happen, you don't see how it impacts everyday life. This scene may be a little bit cheesy, but it gets the point across that the world has been impacted and the joy has been sucked out with the removal of music. One of the best scenes in the whole episode is when the Doctor runs from the Maestro here. When the Doctor hears the arpeggio, he knows what that means and his reaction is great. The whole scene is tense, and the back and forth with the sound waves was really cool and compelling. I wish the final battle between these two had this kind of tension, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Although it's not a great look to have the Doctor run from the villain the first 2 episodes in a row, especially when we don't know that much about him yet. It makes him look weak, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We've had Doctors choose run first as an option before, but that's not how you've been presenting him. He's confident, he has swagger, so it will be effective to see him run from a villain, but maybe not the first 2 out of 3 times out. But after that, the whole episode turns to things I didn't like. Okay, the old woman starts to play music because earlier she was inspired by Ruby's rooftop song. Cool. Meanwhile, the maestro has been chasing an entity that pulled a pretty clever trick to fight you by pulling all the sound waves out of the air. You broke that by using your magic tuning fork and are close to catching whatever it was that was able to combat a god. And then you hear some old playing her piano and you abandon the fight to kill her old ass? Forget that this turns from semi-serious campy to full-on Rocky Horror Picture Show campy. Why did you do that? If playing any music at all pisses you off, where were you during I've Got a Dog and Three Blind Mice? It's also a bit weird that the Doctor is so scared of another toy maker type entity. I get that you're not sure you can beat it. You know how OP they are, and that can be scary, but, and I hate to keep harping on this, you just beat this one's daddy by throwing a ball around. Your track record against things with a power level that dwarfs the Dalek is more or less 100%. So why did you cast like this? Did taking the music out of the world change how famous people look? Look, I'm not bashing the actors, they're fine, I guess, but this is Paul McCartney and John Lennon. Everybody knows what they look like. And they don't look like Andrew Fletcher from Depeche Mode and a lesbian. At least not yet. And guys, Paul and John have very specific accents that are incredibly recognizable. It's weird that you didn't even try. I don't like that he talks about Susan and his younger self being right down the road, and he doesn't go and ask for help from two Time Lords that he knows are here, or at least suspects are, when an entity shows up that took two of him to beat last time. Dude, I know he's in the latter stages of his life cycle, and I know he's younger than you, and I know he's grumpier than but that old man took down the toy maker in his dimension by just changing his voice. I'm pretty sure he may have some ideas on how to handle the maestro. Okay, maybe not, but I'm dying to see the Hartnell Bradley Doctor meet a drag queen. Also, I get that you're not sure if Susan is there because of the genocide that swept across time and space and killed all the Time Lords. For this one, I'm going to assume that you meant the Time War because blowing up a toy Cyberman won't accomplish that. But, you stopped that one, remember? Look, I know you're no spring chicken, but it was a pretty big moment in your life. And it seems really strange that you would forget it. Or are you saying that the Time Lords that were not on Gallifrey at the time you hit it were killed by the Daleks? Because if so, you also weren't on Gallifrey at that time either. Anyway, now my head hurts, and you should have gone over there, and you should have seen your granddaughter. Things I didn't understand. Who are you recording these albums for? You say you don't want your album to be good, and music is dumb, and this appears to be the attitude that everyone has. So who is buying these albums? Kids? I guess it's kids. Does that make the Beatles the Wiggles in this alternate reality? And is Celia Black Barney?
I love you, you love me, we are two, we are not three. 'Cause you love me and I love you, we're quite happy, I think, perhaps.
Can we settle on whether or not period-related clothes are needed? Look, everyone looks super fly, but I get confused when you do it, then you don't do it, then you tell me the TARDIS makes you look like you fit in, unless you're black. I just want some rules and some consistency. I know, this is Doctor Who, we're well past that now. I don't understand why you wasted the Beatles episode when you know you can't afford the songs. You know whose songs you could have afforded? Kiss. Now hear me out. Tell me that the world could go on without getting its faces melted off by the world's most ridiculous band. Having the boys discover their Kiss personalities or fighting Jinx Monsoon just sort of has a poetic ring to it, doesn't it?
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
And rock and roll all night and party every day can't be that expensive, and would be a hell of a lot more fun to watch the cast dance to than the bullshit song you gave us. Save always a twist at the end for the romantic bird episode or something. I don't understand. How do these pantheon gods pick their things? Is it picked for them? Is it picked at birth? I need some background on why the big old doggy is over death. Why this shape-shifting man is over games. This drag queen over music. This I don't know what the thing is over traps and so on. Like, do we really need a full god of games or a full god of traps? We need full god control of music? And wouldn't the god of music want more of it rather than just one long Aeolian tone? The maestro eats music. Why wouldn't they just have everyone make music non-stop until they burst like the fat guy from Monty Python? I don't understand. The maestro is able to control the TARDIS, but Sutek, who's been riding around on this thing since the Pyramid of Mars, can't yet. I'm sure I could think of some reason why this is possible, but guys, for consistency's sake, if the pantheon god of full-on death can't do it, don't have some offspring of the toy god be able to do it without explanation. I don't like and I don't understand the final battle. This is where everything really falls apart for me. So the maestro steals Ruby because she's got a song in her heart, senses Sutek, gets into some weird devil went down to Georgia contest with the doctor. The doctor figures out there's some other musical note that can banish the maestro, fucks that up somehow, gets stuffed into an instrument that doesn't really appear to be suffocating him, but somehow is. John Lennon and Paul McCartney happen by a piano with a floating musical bar which defies physics, aren't at all bothered by it. Notice the important note that hasn't yet been played on this floating sheet of music that neither of them in real life could even read because neither of them could read music, but apparently can in this alternate timeline where people hate music and play the secret note. Supposedly, it's the last note from the song A Day in the Life, but that song wasn't released until Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and didn't really sound much like it because that would have cost money. Guys, this ending f***ing sucked. You're telling me the doctor played the wrong chord? He figured out all the chords before it, but he couldn't play the final one? He has heard A Day in the Life before, right? He's a time traveler and all. It's also been established that the doctor is kinda into music. Why do I feel like 12 would have beat the maestro 30 seconds after meeting them? He would have whipped out his guitar, remembered he wrote Beethoven's Fifth Symphony for him, and blasted this bratty god outside of the universe on a rainbow of guitar waves. This is the doctor. If a routine musical note can banish the god of music from our realm of reality, the immortal time traveler of the known universe and likely God himself would have figured it out in a nanosecond. I don't have to tell you, It's Always a Twist at the End sucked. It's a shame the sudden rush of music back to reality couldn't come up with a better f***ing song than something an AI could write for a 6-year-old. RTD, BBC, Disney, guys, booby. Less money being spent on Jimbo robots and more money on songs that don't make my ears cry. Honestly, I'd be willing to look past it because I had fun with the Goblin song, and I'm about to end this video with a celebrity collaboration of AI voices singing I've Got a Dog right from this episode. But this shit was bad, man. I'd rather you have that woman come back and say jammy again than watch this.
There's a word for you, Doctor, and that word is jammy.
I cringed so hard, I apologize to random people for being a fan. I have to now warn people that are about to watch this episode about this song.
Extras being extra.
Hello there, 1963's Stephen Urkel. Are you this kid's grandfather, or is the casting director paying off a debt? I see your collectibles on the shelf and map of Europe. I can tell that without internet or Comic-Cons, you're kinda lonely. But if you lived in 2024, you would be on YouTube talking model trains to your community and living a good life. And even in 1963, you have swag. Keep that groove, baby. And enjoy your Extra Being Extra Award of the Week. What about the 3 mystery boxes RTD has been floating all season? Mrs. Flood as f*** also, nothing going on there.
The Sutex surprise.
And
Ruby's regular mom.
got a little entwined this week. We got more bullshit snow. Hey guys, I was born on the coast of California. I don't get sprayed in the face with water every time I think about my birth. You know why? Because I'm a regular person, just like Ruby Sunday and her mother. And the maestro gets scared because Carol of the Bells starts playing, which I am to assume was playing when her mom dropped her off. Outside. At the church. At midnight. On Christmas. Where the f*** was this song playing? And then they straight up rip off this scene from Pyramids of Mars. And then they seem to get mad at us fans for figuring it out. RTD, I'm confused. My guy, we're Doctor Who fans. We sort of pride ourselves on being a little bit brighter than our average Too Fast, Too Furious fan. No disrespect, I used to be a pretty big WWF wrestling fan. But you give a classic Doctor Who fan a straight recreation of a famous scene like that, and we're gonna figure that shit out pretty fast. The Devil's Chord was one of those episodes that kind of feel like a microcosm of the season itself. It gets you really invested with some great performances and interesting tone choices, and then shits the bed at the end with some dumb narrative decisions that don't really hold up to scrutiny. And even in just straight entertainment value, feels hollow. I give The Devil's Chord a 5 out of 10 salt shakers, and I'm being generous due to the performances of Jinx Monsoon, this opening scene, and this fucking banger. Let me know what you thought. I love talking Doctor Who. It's my secret passion that nobody in the US really likes talking about. So finding like-minded people just makes me happy, even if they disagree with me. Also, I would love it if you would subscribe. I literally felt like Prince Adam getting the power and becoming He-Man with my 9th and 10th subscriber this week. I'm in double digits, I'm in double digits, I'm in double digits. You like me. Like and subscribe and comment and stay salty, my friends.
I've got a dog. He's called Fred. My dog is alive.
He's not dead.
I love my dog. He loves me too. I haven't got a cat. I haven't got a cat. Only a dog.
My dog, my dog, my dog, my dog. I have a dog.
I love my dog. He is my dog.
He is not your dog.
If you want a dog, if you want a dog, go get your own.
My dog, my dog, oh my dog, my dog. I have a dog.
I love my dog.
He is my dog. He is not your dog. And if you want a dog, oh, if you want a dog, get your own.